You've probably heard it your whole life. Money is everything that, if you drive the right car, wear the right suit, and have enough in the bank, women will line up at your door. But what if I told you that's not just misleading, it's a distraction? Because behind closed doors, when women talk to their closest friends, when they speak from the heart, they mention something completely different, something deeper, something no price tag can touch. Let me tell you a story. There were two men. One was Daniel, everything on paper, tall, charming, wildly successful. He had the penthouse, the watch, the status. Women noticed him everywhere he went. But there was something missing after a few conversations. After the gloss wore off, women drifted. They couldn't even explain why, they just felt disconnected. Then there was another guy. Chris, no designer wardrobe, no flashy car, lived in a simple apartment. But the second he entered a room, people noticed, not because of what he had, but because of who he was. The way he looked you in the eyes, the way he listened. He didn't impress, he expressed, and that made all the difference. Guess who they kept coming back to? It wasn't the money. It was the man in this video. We're uncovering the 6 things women secretly love more than money. They won't always say it out loud, but once you understand and embody these traits, your value skyrockets in ways money never could. So stay with me until the end, because number 6 is what separates the unforgettable from the replaceable. And if you haven't already, hit that subscribe button now, because if you're serious about growth, about self-mastery, and about truly understanding women, this is the channel that will sharpen your edge. Let's dive in. Number 1, emotional presence. It sounds simple, but it's rare. A man who is fully present when he's with her. No distractions, no wandering eyes, no rehearsed lines, just calm, grounded attention. He listens not to fix, but to understand. He holds space for her without rushing to respond. You have no idea how magnetic this is in a world where most people barely listen long enough to answer. Presence is a superpower. And when a woman feels seen, not scanned or sized up, but seen, that's when a real bond starts to form. Second, calm, grounded energy. We're living in chaos, notifications, news, pressure, comparison. It's endless. But the man who isn't swayed, who walks with ease, who slows down instead of speeding up, he becomes a walking sanctuary. This doesn't mean he's boring, it means he's unshakable. He doesn't need to raise his voice or prove himself. His energy does the talking, and women can feel that they lean in toward that kind of presence, because it's so rare in today's world. Third, a clear sense of mission. There is nothing more attractive than a man who knows who he is and what he's building. Not because he's trying to impress anyone, but because he can't not build it. His mission drives him. It gives him structure, clarity, and direction. Women are intuitive. They can spot the man who's drifting from the one who's aligned, the one who's desperate for approval from the one who's focused on purpose. Money might spark her interest, but purpose keeps her fascinated. And here's the paradox. When you're mission-driven, you stop chasing women, and that's when they start noticing you. Fourth, emotional maturity and conflict. It's easy to be composed when everything's going well. But what happens when tension rises, when she challenges you, when emotions run hot? Most men collapse or lash out. But the man who stays grounded, who listens without defensiveness, who communicates without needing to dominate that man, earns a rare kind of trust. And trust creates safety, and safety creates emotional intimacy. Being mature in conflict doesn't mean you never raise your voice. It means you never lose your presence. And that's what makes a woman want to stay. Fifth, authenticity. This one cannot be faked. A man who's honest about who he is, his wins, his losses, his flaws and strengths, is a man who stands out. He doesn't perform, he doesn't hide, he speaks his truth even when it's inconvenient. And here's the beautiful part. Authenticity isn't about perfection, it's about alignment. When a man's words and actions match, when he doesn't need to impress anyone, his presence becomes trustworthy. And in a world full of filters and masks, that kind of raw honesty is unforgettable. Women don't want perfect. They want real. And finally, number 6, quiet confidence. There's loud confidence, the kind that brags, shouts, overcompensates, and then there's quiet confidence, the kind that's felt not flaunted. You'll see it in the man who doesn't interrupt, who doesn't need validation, who walks into a room not looking to be seen, but already knowing who he is. That kind of confidence doesn't need a spotlight. It is the spotlight, and women, they're drawn to it instinctively. It's in the way. He walks the way he holds eye contact, the way he speaks without rushing. It's not what he says, it's the weight behind his words. And that weight comes from a deep-rooted self-respect. Here's what they won't tell you. Money might get her attention, but these traits keep it. Because in the end, it's not about what you have, it's about who you are. The man who's emotionally present, the one who carries peace in chaos, the one driven by purpose, the one mature in storms, the one unapologetically real, and the one who doesn't need to shout to be heard. That's the man she remembers. That's the man she trusts. That's the man she loves, not just in words, but in her soul. So if you've been wondering why your status or income didn't seal the deal, this is your answer. You weren't missing money. You were missing alignment. You were missing depth. The good news? These traits can be learned, practiced, mastered. This channel is here to help you do exactly that. So if this resonated with you even a little, make sure you're subscribed, because each video we drop is crafted to sharpen you, to challenge you, and to remind you who you're becoming. Not just richer, but deeper, more grounded, more powerful, more you. Because the man who leads with character, not cash, that's the man who becomes truly irresistible. And that's the kind of man we're building here. So the next time someone tells you just make more money, smile. Then remember, you already have the blueprint to something far more valuable. Now, go live it.